Hello, beautiful and beloved ones. Welcome or welcome back. This is Lorelei from the Tightrope to 5D Music Reactions. And if you wonder about that strange title, I'm bringing you a message every other video this year about this historic shift from third dimensional consciousness to fifth dimensional consciousness. Never happened before. And I've also got an entire playlist of 5D messages, which you can check out. Today, I am bringing you a message. So, first, though, we're going to look at Diana Ankudinova and Rechenka, My Little River. Here we go.
Моя Rechenka, ты течешь, да не колыбнешься.
I mean, she is so intense, isn't she? And so raw. She's always just that raw emotion and feeling. I mean, just amazing. Look at the little setting of like, looks like almost a library or something with a bunch of friends. But maybe there's more behind, but it sure looks like a small little setting. But wow, she gives it her everything, doesn't she? Oh my goodness. By the way, friends, don't forget that I have some member tiers and I've been furiously putting stuff in there for you. So check out my video about that. See if that might be of interest to you. And it's also a good way to contribute to me if that's of interest to you. Let us continue, though. Here we go. Let's go back a little bit. I love that thing she did with her hand, that wave in her hand.
Ой, да ты дитя, да мое дитя, да ты чего сидишь, да не улыбнешься.
Maybe it's a coffee house. That's what I'm thinking now. I think it's a little coffee house, which I know they do have in Russia. I was over in Russia in my for my honeymoon, actually, 30 years or so ago, you know. And yeah, so I do know they have those little coffee houses. So very, very cool. And by the way, folks, if you're enjoying this, go ahead and like my video, like hers later. It's always in the notes, and subscribe. Let's continue. I'm trying to understand. She has no reason to celebrate, but these are her bridesmaids, and she has a house full of guests, and they filled the hall. So explain this to me. Come into the comments now and explain this song to me. There must be some context I'm not getting, because in the first she was talking about somebody being her little river, and that she loved this one or anything. I thought it was a person, could have been a river, but now it got something about a wedding. I don't know. Put it in the comments. Let me know. Here we go. But it's so poetic though also. And it reminds me that Russia is the land of the great writers, the great playwrights, Chekhov and Tolstoy and all of these folks. I mean, Russia has unbelievable writers or through the ages they have had. So this kind of reminds and poets and everything. So let's continue. And they revere them. And when we were there, like there were statues to every kind of writer and poet and everything. They just really revere them. So this is very poetic. Let's continue. I'll go back a little, actually, because that was cool how she built there.
Моя Rechenka, ты течешь, да не колышешься.
Oh my goodness. My goodness. Wow. 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 That's all I can say is wow. She is a performer. She is such a performer of, we'd call the American school, that came in the 1960s. And there was that, let's see, what was his name? The guy who played in The Godfather. He was sort of the head of this. Let me just look this up. Yeah, Marlon Brando. Marlon Brando was like the father of that American, school of like, you really get into your role and you really, you just like, you are the role, and that's what she reminds me of. It's like she is the role. And actually those dramatic elements go back that to Russia as I think of it now that I remember, right? They started that out over there, and then we continued it with the Marlon Brando, and he was like the sort of head of it over here, because that was my first degree, by the way, in theater. And so like she's just, you have to really admire her for her ability to just get that role and stick it and pull you right into it. You don't even know what she's talking about, but you're still pulled. You're pulled into it by her intensity and by her sticking to that, whatever it is, that emotion or whatever she's got, her vision, she's seeing it in front of her eyes. You don't know what she's seeing, but you're still pulled right in there with her. It's hypnotic, she's hypnotic. You can't help but really be involved in it with her. She's just extraordinary. And that doesn't say anything about her voice, which is a whole nother ballgame. It's very, very talented, very skillful, very beautiful voice. So, oh my goodness. Wow. I just really, really enjoy her. She's just awesome. Now we have to put that on our scale here. 1 being very third dimensional, fear, pain, sadness, anger, and 10 being very fifth dimensional, love, peace, joy, bliss. I don't really quite exactly know what the song means, but it's not dark or something. It is confusion. There's some confusion in there, I think, like in the person who's she's portraying. Like that's what I sort of get is like a confusion. And so it's not super, super high, in terms of pulling us toward that number 10, that fifth dimensional energy, but it's also not super, super low in terms of that. I mean, extraordinarily well done. It's riveting, that's the word I'm looking for. It's riveting, So, but as far as how much it pulls you toward the 5D, I go with like it's just such a performance. Man, it's just such a performance. I would go with like a 7.5 on this one. but her performance, that's off the chart. That's so way up, on a 1 to 10 scale, it's way off the chart. But in terms of actually pulling us to a higher place, it's about probably a 7.5 to an 8. I'll go with that. Okay. But wonderfully done. Like, the performer in me just really loves this one and just appreciates her. She's so awesome. So, by the way, friends, if you'd like to know a little bit about me, you can go to the About Me video on this channel, which leads you to a little longer video, if you so desire, about what I call my forged in the fire of 3D journey in my younger days. And also in the notes, you'll find the page on Patreon, About Lorelei on Patreon, which is some of the things that I've put together that might be of interest to you. So feel free to check those out. Meanwhile, don't forget that I have my member tiers. I think I told you about that. You can check those out as well. And I appreciate those of you who have supported me by giving me a buy me a coffee on this site, or the super thanks on this site, or even on my Patreon page, those of you who have done that. And if there's a desire in you to contribute or to acknowledge me, that's a way you can do it, and it's much appreciated. So let's see. Let's get to my 5D message. How does each nationality, color, and creed contribute to this 5D shift? Because I'm going to assert that every single nationality, color, and creed has a piece of the pie to contribute to this historic 5D shift. Now, obviously, I can't go through every nationality. We'd be here for a year or two because there's lots of nationalities on our planet. But if you take a look at this particular individual here, she's from Russia, right? And Russia has a certain contribution, which is like, it's sort of a spiritual intensity. When I went there for my honeymoon, it was an amazing place, and people, they were devoted to their spirituality, their religion even. They went underground. When communism came in, they went underground, and they said, darn you, I'm still going to hang on to my spirituality, my religion. You're not going to take that away from me. And they risked their lives for that, okay? So they're a strongly spiritual people. And this was very powerful about them. I remember, and you go into some of the churches that you had not been ripped down by the communists, that they somehow managed to save, and you just see like artifact upon artifact upon artifact, hundreds of years old, that they just they carefully kept, and they carefully kept away from the communist regime. So this is, I think, their piece of the pie, is this deep, intense sort of spiritual longing and connection. Now you look at people like, for instance, the Native Americans. These guys are holding a big piece of the pie, in that they are like the connection to the earth. That's always been a fifth dimensional thing. Like, the earth is a 5D, that connection to the earth, to, like we say, Mother Earth or Gaia. That can bring you very high. That's why people want to ground, when they have issues or problems. They want to sit on the ground and ground. That's why being out in nature will raise your frequency and vibration. It always has, you see. That earth in and of itself is a 5D experience, and always has been. Now, certainly it went lower as the earth fell really low, but still you could access a higher dimension by connecting with the earth. So the Native Americans, they have that going on, and they hold that space, they keep that space going, that sort of connection to the earth mother, if you will. Then you have for instance, the Africans, they're holding that sort of as well. They're holding that connection, but in a different kind of way. They're holding that real kind of, I don't know, like just raw tribal thing going on, right? And I'm not saying all people of any denomination, obviously, but I'm saying as a whole, they're holding that raw tribal thing, and they got the drumming going on. It's such a powerful experience, a powerful spiritual experience to be in that drumming world, which the Native Americans also have a little different style or whatever. But that drumming world, and I've been to drum circles, very, very powerful. And it can pull you in various directions. Back in the day, those tribes were using that drumming and that music to bring them into a euphoric state, a connection to the divine. Other times they were using it to bring them, to go into war or something like that, because of the power of that. So they're holding the power of that music and that drumming and all of that, just like that powerful like earth connected music. I would call it that. So they're holding that, you go to the different places now. When I was over in Germany, again, there's a deep connection to their religion. They love God and their religion. Like that's a very powerful thing over there. Going to Ireland, for instance, and the people I've met, the Irish people, they're holding the fun, right? Aren't they? They're just like so much fun. They're holding the fun, and they're a good time to be around, always and forever. Irish people, right? I mean, you got it, the Polish people, and they've got their beautiful, the gorgeous beauty of their artwork. And so many of these nationalities have such beautiful artwork, and they're holding the beauty, the various kinds of beauty. And the Polish, like the eggs that they will decorate, at Easter time. Oh my goodness, unbelievable. You can't even believe something could exist. I have these beautiful Easter eggs, which hand painted actual eggs. And gorgeous. You could break them if you blew on them. I have to be super careful, But this is a fifth dimensional thing too. These beauty of these different kinds of artwork. I could go country by country and be here forever, but France, is that kind of love energy, that cozy love energy, you always think of France, Paris rather, as that romantic. So they're holding that romance, Now, of course, countries are holding a lot of not so nice things, all of them, right? But that's the third dimensional part of it, That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is like, what is each country holding? Like, so for instance, the United States is holding freedom. Like we broke apart from those controllers and we are carrying freedom. Like we are free divine sparks of God. That's what we're carrying. Mexico, carrying the beautiful artwork and the ancientness of their country, right? The Aztecs and all of that, that just, again, that earth connectedness. Just so many, every single one carries, and you could probably get on here. In fact, that's a good comment to make if you want to do that. Put what you think your country is carrying in terms of a higher dimensional, fifth dimensional energy. What do you think they're carrying? What kind of wonderful things are happening in your country, your nationality, your color, your creed, whatever it may be, whatever that is? What do you think it is that you guys are carrying? Because it's all pieces of the pie. And you see, when we all come together in that higher dimensional place, it's exalted. It's like we're sharing each other's cultures and each other's gifts and each other's wonders. And nobody's feeling like, oh, well, they stole my culture. That's so stupid. We're sharing it all and we're loving it all and we're just enjoying it all. And everybody's bringing what they have to the table, And that's the higher dimensional harmony and the ability to just revel and delight in everyone's differences, while also knowing that at a core, we are all one and we are all the same in a certain kind of a way, right? We're all the same in the fact that we're a human being, divine spark of God, but we're all so wonderfully different in these multitudinous ways that we bring to the table. And our energies, our sort of collective energies. So it's much to look forward to in the fifth dimension. But I'm going to go ahead and send you that fifth dimensional energy, the love, the peace, the joy, and all this multi-beautiful, wonderful energy from all of these different races, colors, and creeds that is wonderful to have around you. I'm sending it to you now. Namaste. I honor the God in you.